So yeah, the problem now is the people. The people are essentially so convinced in these realities that, they can't nobody can tell them anything. Like, people have been trauma have been, have fallen into these trauma traps. Whether it's been poverty, it's been racism, it's been the mental illness. Those are trauma traps because mental illness doesn't really exist. It is just a byproduct, a symptom to being in a disharmonious environment, a disharmonious place, an atmosphere that's not serving you and you're not able to really fully serve it. Because a lot of people that are mentally ill are shamans, mystics, healers. They're all of these different things, but because they live in a society that doesn't even allow them to express anything of themselves, they they get out of whack. They go into chaos mode because they're not serving their purpose. If you're not serving your purpose, you are going to die. That's period. That's really what's gonna. This is what this coronavirus, like, everything that's happening right now. It's really just to let people know that if you're not serving your purpose, it's not about health, bruh. Health, again, that's another social construct about the working out and shit. The 1980s, I'm sure there's been many cycles of the same shit. But in the 1980s, they started pushing this whole idea of everything needs to be hard, tough love. If you want to be good to you want to be healthy, you got to work out. You got to do all this body movements and all this weird shit when really all you had to do is sit down, think in your mind what kind of body you wanted and align with that reality. That's it. It's not that difficult. And that reality could be something as simple as not eating certain foods, drinking more water, drinking more teas, getting out in the sun, walking more, all types of different things. But because people have been they're far away from themselves and they don't feel themselves, they don't live in themselves. Anything externally put out that's similar to whatever reality that it's vibrating on similar tones of what they want. For example, weight loss. You want to look better, and someone says weight loss. Weight loss isn't what you want. You want to look like yourself. That's really what it is. That's really what it comes down to. You want to look like yourself. You want to look like your true self. And they're saying it's weight loss. When really that's not even what it is. That's not even what it is. So again, that's another trauma trap. There's so many in this bitch. So many in this bitch. Anyways, so these trauma traps essentially put people in these vibrations, these frequencies that they're now tuned into. So now that you're tuned into these vibrations, any kind of residue or debris that they throw towards you, any kind of sprinkles that they decide to put on your ice cream, you gonna eat because you're here. You got the ice cream. You're on the vibration. You're on the wave. So if you're a person that's on your own frequency, on your own vibration, whatever you decide with the light codes, whatever the earth decides with its beautiful light codes, that is what you'll be experiencing. That is what you'd be absorbing like a sponge. You understand? So you get to make that decision, that choice. But what really needs to occur right now is people need to acknowledge the facts. Like, they don't need to do anything, but I think it would be nice if they acknowledge the fact that there's so many illusions in this earth. And I believe it's time for us to, for those who understand themselves and those who are ready to step into their own power, and not all of it is warrior. Like, I mean, I understand there's a lot of us who are warriors in this John and ready to, cut a nigga's head off because we've been done so wrong. But what really needs to occur right now, what's really going to save the world right now, is self-compassion, compassion for others, and just practicing the layers of love, the layers of unconditional love, truly. Because a lot of people, you got to forgive them because they didn't know. They did not know what they were doing. You know what I mean? They were following an energy that was taking them somewhere that they thought was where they needed to go, that they thought was kind of like who they were, but it really wasn't. I was talking about something before about blackness and about my own experience, and I want to return back to that. I just remembered it. Again, time is an illusion, and you guys are seeing it with me right now because it's kind of just flowing on top of each other. It's flowing on top of each other. So, um, anyways, so I'm melanated. I'm not black. I'm not Nigerian. I'm not any of these things. I'm not American. I am a being experiencing this experience until I fully remember every aspect of who this person is. I mean, I have a lot of understanding for myself, and some parts I don't really want to share with people because not everyone that's watching this video is going to be a person that is vibrating with me and trying to support the energy. Some people are just going to be watching this to try to disprove or call me crazy or call me disillusioned or whatever it is. And I guess I am disillusioned because I now see through the illusions. You understand what I'm saying? So um okay, so essentially I was a person, I mean, throughout, elementary school, I experienced a lot of outcasting because of my look, what I look like, my eyes, the way that my body in general moves. I realized, I'm not like a lot of black girls either. I'm not the same. We're not the same. Like whatever that way of being, that's not. Again, all of those things are just characteristics that people learn over time. If people were able to just fully be themselves, they would not be acting this way at all. Like at all. Um, at all. So, for me personally, I was bullied or tormented because I had a little bit of a stomach and I was super tall and my eyes would go out sometimes like it would because I have very nice peripheral vision. I can see everywhere. My eyes would go out and things like those sorts. And I have a very powerful voice. In the classroom, I would say something and everybody would look towards me and just see, look at me like both eyes. And it would kind of make me a little bit nervous because I was like, damn, what the fuck? Like, why are y'all? And I knew internally, like, you guys are expecting me to cut this shit out. But I'm like, I'm not going to cut this shit out unless other people are going to do it with me. Because, what is it for me to just say it when I don't even know if everyone's gonna feel. I don't know. Now that I think about it, I'm like, I might as well. I should have just said, fuck this shit. It's like this is fake. I don't know why we're doing this. In classroom and the whole energy of the classroom again, that's I wash my hands of it. I'm glad that people are in the are at home right now. Um, but I understand. There's so many layers to that as well. Anyways, I experienced all types of different things happening within my childhood experience, my elementary experience. I had a lot of Asian friends and a lot of male friends, which is kind of contrary to what my childhood experience was. Like, I experienced a lot of torment through, um, you know, young men who looked like me. So, for me to have friends that were also male and just uplifted me was kind of really refreshing and healing. And then middle school happened. I lost all my elementary school friends. We acted like we didn't even know each other. And seventh grade, I experienced a lot of bullying. I joined the black girls groups, the black kids groups, which was kind of, they embodied all aspects of black culture. The what you would call ghetto or like aggressive, like savagery, like that energy that's like they roasting, bitch nigga, da, da, da. That was the energy that I was a part of because I wanted to belong somewhere and I fit in. I went to try to get in where I fit in, and that was the only place where I felt like I really fit in because I was going based off of people looking similar to me, and they looked similar to me. So, and we all called each other black, which isn't, that's not what we were. Now that I think about it, we were totally something completely different, but we fell into the trauma trap of the blackness and with the school systems and how they treat black kids and treat people that look like us and everything, which again, as part of the whole game, they know who we are, and we don't. We don't stand in our power. We do know who we are, but we're afraid to stand in our power some days and sometimes because no one else is doing the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm tired of people saying that we're pussy. Like, because a lot of people also don't understand the amount of gaslighting and just sheer like craziness that a lot of us experience growing up, that for me my mind blocks out a lot of that kind of trauma. There's a lot, like if I was to sit here and talk about it, I probably would shake a little bit because like some parts of my experience as a child was just so out of this world evil. It was like, damn, bro, like I know I got myself to that frequency, but like now, but like when I was a kid, I was like, bro, I'm just so sad and no one's helping me, and everyone's like, get up, be happier. And I'm like, no, but these niggas are hurting me and da 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 da. And yeah. So, anyways, seventh grade, I was experiencing bullying. People were not really understanding me. People were trying to get in fights with me, but again, I never fought anybody. I was the type of girl that if you put hands on me, I would let you hit me. like for real, because I'm not a combative person at all. I'm a lover. Like that's just my heart. But when eighth grade came, I reclaimed more of my power. I stepped into my power, and this kind of looked like, and I channeled this. I didn't step into my power in the sense of saying, fuck school, we need to teach ourselves. It was more of, I'm going to no longer allow people to bully me or prevent me from really enjoying my life in whatever aspect capacity that I can. So I ended up doing photography. I was really, really amazing at it. I mean, I'm still pretty good at it, but like the world and everything, all the distractions, I'm more focused on really reminding people as well as myself of the truth and the nature of where we are. But in eighth grade, I was focused on photography and doing that well with my yearbook group, and people really vibrated with me because I was also a person that reported, and that's when I started realizing like the news is kind of whack, for real, because the news feeds this. This is when I started piecing together certain parts, like for real, like truly Dewey's. I started realizing like the news puts a frequency and energy forth that people usually absorb. Because for me in eighth grade, both years of my experience in middle school, we had this television broadcast, which was like the students would, it was called like Wildcat TV, where we would basically mimic similar aspects of like news. We actually had like the full news studio and everything, just like an actual news studio. And we would talk about the news of the school, the weather, you know, the spotlight, certain students that were doing, certain projects and all types of things. And I decided I wanted to be a part of that. So because I wanted to showcase other elements of life. So I started showing people doing positive things on campus. But my where I feel like I dropped the ball was falling for the trauma trap of being black, me thinking that I'm black, me believing that I'm black when I'm not. Because the idea of being black comes with so much trauma and baggage that's not even ours to claim at this point. We've moved past that, we've ascended past that. We've claimed so much more than that, that doing that is like going backwards but also sinking downwards into despair. But I did it on accident, low-key on purpose, because I had to learn my lesson. And I did learn my lesson. So eighth grade, I was working with all students, but I was very biased. I would always try to put my energy towards representing Black people and Black stories and the experience of a Black person. And really, I wanted people to know, like, yo, this is what we're experiencing. I want y'all niggas to know. But by me putting that on the forefront of my platform, especially how powerful I was, and me putting my life force energy, I'm a vivacious 13-year-old with a mind that's infinite, putting my energy towards that limited box. People vibrated with it too much. They absorbed that energy way too much. And people were not really trying to help people like me or people that were mirroring the same complexion ascend and be better or anything like that. A lot of people were just like, damn, that sucks. That's really tough. It is what it is. I'm glad that I'm different. I'm glad that I'm white, I'm glad I'm Indian or Asian or whatever it was. And that was just what it was. And honestly, it mirrors the same in this life. Like with the Black Lives Matter and shit. When you're saying Black Lives Matter, give us freedom, give us hope, and you're telling them all the shit that you've been through, a lot of these niggas are like, oh shit, you going through all that? And because you're amazing and you don't stand in your power, I can still have the benefits that I'm having? All right, for sure. Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. That's literally what they're doing right now. I'm telling y'all facts. I hope somebody watches this video and I hope that you understand what I'm saying. It's from love. It really is from love. Hey God, I have it on the shirt, Children of the Sun. And the back says, we are the ones that we've been looking for. This is my mission, is to remind people of who they are. And to tell them the truth, because, yo, I did it to myself. I did it to my people. And it's a mistake. I'm glad that now as a person who's 20 years old, out of the bullshit that is the educational system, I can sit back and really say, okay, bro, I have more time. And I also, I feel for myself because I was an eighth grader who had all this homework, all these responsibilities at home, in school. I was playing sports. My mind wasn't exactly fully equipped to sit down and break everything down layer by layer to really understand and take that gem that, okay, me pushing this black narrative is actually counterproductive to me freeing and liberating my peoples, any peoples for that matter. Talking about traumas is only going to trigger people to feel traumatic, hopeless, all these different feelings and things. They do this over and over. They do this in everything. In school, where they have you reading all these traumatic ass books and shit, it's all to program you with fear so that you feel like, okay, like this has already happened. Malcolm X was so powerful and amazing and he got killed. So if I'm trying to do that same thing, I got to make sure that I'm not, around certain people. I can't even trust my own people. All these different emotions and feelings that are not even meant to be absorbed, because if you followed your own vibration and frequency, because your vibration and frequency is a light code. You already coded exactly what you're supposed to be doing this whole time. You planned it out. You already planned everything out to a T. What ends up happening is that people go off script by following other people's programs and games. But when you go back to your own game, your own script, you start following your own structure. You realize everything flows perfectly because you already mapped it out. But again, people have gone so far off script, so far from source, so far from spirit, that a lot of people forgot their way back home. But again, I had this on my door. I wrote this when I was 17 years old and I was really waking up. It says love never gets lost on its way home. So if you're watching this video, you are loved and you are loved. So you're not lost. You'll remember. But I definitely think it's important for us to have this discussion about what really took place, and what we did, and how we contributed to our own demise, but also how we are making a change. So going back to my own story, I know this is super kind of, 17 minutes in. All right, so fast forwarding throughout high school, I decided, when I think back to it, I'm like, bro, I knew it was going to be like super duper hard and just unnecessarily challenging, but I felt like it was something I had to do. I put on my little savior hat and I was like, I need to do this for my people, yes. So I went to Stanford for a weekend with my dad. My dad and my brother. My dad was the one who encouraged us to go because I originally was going to go to Stanford University. My mind was focused on Stanford University. And I went to the school for a Black empowerment conference thing, and it was amazing. For the first time, I saw a room full of Black people, and I felt so cosmic, Mom. I felt so cosmic. I was like, whoa, people like me, like lit. But again, we were all programmed with the idea that we're Black, and we've all this experience and trauma and shit because we on this plane we've experienced. That was what we just continue to just push and push and push, and then we can the ideas of academics and being excelling in those realms is what was the forefront, and being able to articulate yourself in a way that the white man can understand was the forefront. I mean, it was more than that, but I'm just, I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to explain to you guys that like what we were focused on was not what we were supposed to be focused on in all actuality. If we're trying to empower and liberate the peoples, what we need to focus on is the creative areas that are us. We need to focus on dancing, making music, the liberating the creative mind that has really been in shackles for such a long time, and allowing people to fully free themselves in all aspects, all aspects of expression. So that's, some people it's makeup, some people it's different hair arts and everything in between. I'm a person that is a teacher of a learner of everything, a student of everything. So I love to express myself in every avenue. Every day is a new day. Every moment is a new moment for me. I'm not the same person that I was just a couple moments ago. So Anyways, that was eighth grade year, my eighth grade year, where I went to Stanford. Experienced that. I was like, yo, I want to bring this experience to my high school, and I want people to be able to experience this with me. And I think it would be also cool to put this on my letters of like my application when I'm applying to Stanford. That I went to this Stanford conference, and because of it, it inspired me to create like a Black student union at my school, and really be able to push people into an avenue of learning about themselves, having a platform to speak their truth, and being able to, have a community of folks that are also on the same vibration. But again, that's a trauma trap, because if you're naming the Black Student Union, there's heaviness just in general to that. And I didn't even know how I was like, I didn't study in the history that much. I knew about the history the history of his story of Blackness and everything, but I didn't understand. I didn't fully understand it and stand in my own truth as a person who's cosmic. That it's our time to really rise and be um, our individual selves. You know, transcending this skin suit, because some people are black but are internally, going back in lineage, they're white, and vice versa. So skin suit, race is a construct. Race is a construct. If I haven't said it enough, no, race is a construct. Okay. So anyways, I did it for 4 years. I had the BSU all 4 years of my high school experience. I hated it, but I loved it at the same time. I felt important. I was a leader. People looked up to me. People listened to what I had to say. And I had a lot of opportunities to really bring together people. It was beautiful because I got to bring people together and like see people meet each other, intermingle. And I know that a lot of people ended up creating friends and relationships through this avenue, this hub, this safe space, this sacred space that me and my brother had kind of orchestrated to create. But at the same time, it wasn't fixing the problem of Blackness at all. And most people that when it really got down to some serious shit, like when we were talking about how we are gonna make ourselves seen, felt, and heard, it was just it felt like we were just screaming at a wall. It felt like I was screaming at a wall a lot of the times, because it's like, what do you do? What do you really do? That you gotta let that shit go completely in order to fully allow yourself to lift and ascend. You gotta release all of the barriers of being Black, because whatever they've put onto the Black energy is an agenda that's made to hold you down, literally, and put bags on your back. You understand? It's not made to empower you in any kind of source of way. The Black Power movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, it is disempowering. And for anybody who follows that narrative, you will see in time that it's not something to serve you. It's never going to serve you. So for me personally, I want to publicly apologize to anybody, everybody who saw my ass out there on these streets. Out, not even on the streets, because I didn't really protest. I protested once, like on the streets, saying Black Lives Matter and all this shit, because of Stephon Clark, who was if you know about him, yeah. So that hit my heart a little bit hard because of the grandma situation. I was like, damn, for real, at the grandma's crib? Damn. But again, frequency and vibration. More of my energy was focused on more political aspects. I was focused on I wanted to get into politics. So I wanted to be a person that created policies of change, potentially become a president. Like I was really thinking about leadership and leading people and shit. Leading people and shit. That's so funny. And that's out the window now, because I'm like, why would I do that for? I mean, if you want that, if I still see this shit happening when I'm like in my late 20s, I'm about to go into the books, because I think if they're not gonna lead themselves, somebody gotta do it. And I'm not gonna allow some wacko jacko who doesn't have any kind of empathy towards people of our complexion, or any kind of empathy towards anybody in general, doesn't want to see people grow. I'll jump into the suit and do whatever I gotta do. I'm a person that's a shapeshifter. If you need me to go through and speak I can do it. That's why I did so well in school, why I wanted to go to Stanford, because I knew how to play the game of excelling in being something that I wasn't, because my path is so, and see, that's the deprogramming that I have to go through and that I'm continuously going through, because I'm not supposed to be a politician. That's not even in any part of my book that I wrote. Like, it's not even in there. Why would I be a politician? That shit is a losing game again. Yeah. So y'all on your own, if you decide to do and follow that like, I'm telling you guys right now, it's not something that's gonna serve you. So anyways, I did the 4 years of Black Lives Matter, or BSU, Black Student Union. I experienced so much opposition, yo, so much opposition. And I think a lot of the teachers and a lot of my counselors, a lot of them are white too, and they're so funny. Because when I think back of their conversations, they would always say, it's a marathon. It's a marathon. It's not a race, Machi. Because I wanted to do all these things so quickly. I was like, yo, we need today. We need to have students, all Black students, be able to have free lunch, access to all the opportunities after school. If they want to stay on campus after school, they can, because we don't really have a place to be at after school sometimes. So we need to be able to have things to do. And we need to have all the teachers be able to have empathy training and competency, cultural training, because they need to understand our truth and and all this energy. And the teachers are, not even the teacher, but the vice principal was like, okay. Like, I think people always knew that I was so much smarter than what I was making myself out to be. But like, I always allowed for this narrative, this trauma trap, to like hold me hostage in some aspects, because I my parents internalized it, my dad internalized it, my mom internalized it in some aspects, but not really. My dad really internalized. A lot of Black men, they fall for the trap because that, the fear, and I love them so much, but we need to protect our Black men, please, because they be softer than the woman. Honestly, I'm telling y'all right now, like, on a lot of aspects, like, they, in their hearts, like, they need that protection as well in a lot of ways. But a lot of them fell for the trauma traps. So that kind of fell onto me, and I wanted to help people in whatever way that I could. So that, especially when it came to our our complexion, I wanted to figure out a way to relieve that stress. And but the only thing was that it wasn't calculated. It was really emotional based, which is reactive, and anything coming from a reaction based space, it's not really going to be having a lot of substance, because it's not something that's going to hold weight long term. When you calculate it out, when you think about it, when you plan it, but not really plan it, you just, you start mapping things out in your brain with a real intention and focus, things will start coming through more beautifully. But at the same time, it's not really my business to get into that, because it's not. I personally think I did more harm than good, honestly. I just wasn't a person that was that interested in. I was interested in helping people, but I was like, bro, like, I want to do this today, and I wasn't patient enough to sit down and think about it for real. Because I felt like, this is happening now, people are getting killed now, all this energy, and not understanding that death is a part of life. Death is an illusion. Death is not even death, honestly, technically. There's so many things when you tap into your spiritual self, you start realizing a lot of the things that they push as a problem or as a trauma, or it's just learning lessons. And my door back there says I live to share, and I do live to share. So yeah, those 4 years I did that. By my senior year, I was tired of life, suicidal, for real. I tried to commit suicide, for a multitude of different reasons. I was really waking up into my power. Like, I can talk about my whole high school experience in a different video, because I was literally so spiritual and like just wild in so many different ways. But I felt like I had done so dirty. Like, I just felt so whack for like falling for the ideas of this, like believing that I needed to save niggas, like, in that way. Like, that wasn't Nagas. Like, that's not what I'm supposed to be here for. That's just not it. Like, why would so I was disappointed with myself. I was disappointed that Um, also my grades were good, but like it's just all types of things. So, in general, I was depressed. I was realizing myself. I was realizing stepping back into my power and my truth, and things were going haywire just in general because I was seeing that you know, I wasn't reacting in the same ways that people were kind of expecting me to, and I was really over this whole BSU shit. I was by the end of my senior year, or by like by like December of my senior year, my BSU had basically dissolved. Like it was no longer in my hands. Another person had basically taken over it and hijacked it for their own good, which I hope that they actually made it more positive because the way that I was doing things, I was just so hard headed. Like I had a vision and I wanted it to be this way and only that way. And then like anybody who came through, I was always thinking that they were a problem. And instead of me looking at myself and being like, why do I want to do things in only this way and only this way? There's so many like, and then just fighting with myself and having this war internally instead of having peace and wanting peace, but like not practicing it, not implementing it. But there were so many layers that I experienced. I say this all to say it is very easy to get emotionally attached to a reality that is not your own because we are all loving beings and we want to help other people. So I understand anybody who is putting their fist up saying Black Lives Matter with the ignorant um, with the intellectual ignorance, not knowing about blackness, but not really understanding the fact that it's counterproductive. I have empathy for those folks. And I make this video for y'all because I want you guys to understand. I would like to encourage people to understand that that's a losing game. At this point, what we need to start focusing on free education, free healthcare, free housing for all, universal. Understand me? Those are basic rights that everybody deserves. Everybody deserves. There's not there's like if anybody who sits here and says that people don't deserve it, I'm gonna have to ask you why. Because poverty births a lot of the people that are pissed off with the world. Poverty, a feeling of a lack of abundance, the feeling of a lack of, resources, the feeling of a lack of knowledge. These things are what cause people to go off the hinge and create chaos and feel like they manifest what they are, which is disharmonious. And if we give people the opportunity to experience all these things, then they wake up fully and, this game is fucking over. So there's a lot of people right now I know who are creating these institutions, these new institutions, and we can change the word, take out the word. The energy of the word is kind of trash. We're creating sacred spaces, creating places where people can actually heal themselves and guide themselves individually, but also be around people collectively that are also on that same vibration of healing and grouping and lifting themselves up. Of course, that's kind of an idea because I know right now people are experiencing this on an individual basis, or for the most part, a lot of people are experiencing this individually. But for me personally, I have the goal and the dream to create a space, a sanctuary for all peoples, all colors, creeds, textures, shades, tones, young, old, everything. In my world, people don't age. In my world, people do not. They don't feel the heaviness that we feel, and they can transform and they can do so many things. They're limitless. So returning back to my own inner child, returning back to that sacred space that I am, that is me. So that's where I'm at right now. Yeah, time is an illusion, by the way, because you can tap back to your inner child anytime. You can tap back. When you experience trauma and shit, and it feels like you're experiencing it again, for like it's like the first time you ever experienced it. It feels like you're experiencing it again. These are just so many ways that you can just see that it's not time just doesn't exist for real. your heart is continuously beating. It doesn't take a break and say, okay, we're going to restart the next day. No, you just continue. It's part of the journey is a deep breath of air. The journey is a deep breath of air. It's like, just continuously in a cycle. So, yeah, I say all this to say, please stop projecting your energies onto other people's. Although I know a lot of people don't even know that they're doing it. So, let's have another discussion about this another time. I'm going to continue sharing things that I can, and also reveal my own inner truth, because it's wild that we're here in this experiencing. And it's crazy how many layers of life lives here, and how many layers of lies and distrust and disharmonious energy lives here as well. But we're returning back to nature, and Mother Earth is doing her Dougie with people and with the planet. So we're gonna see things beautify very soon. So, and if they haven't already, they already have. I've been indoors, for the most part, because my family customs are a little bit wacky, and I don't. I also just, it's cold outside of these streets. It's really cold. It's December. It's frosty sometimes. My hands be getting cold. I do go outside. I'm just not always all outside like how I would be if it was spring or fall or summer. I'd be outside all the time. But wintertime is more of my time to reflect, think, rest, and be in that moment, as well as create. So, I mean, all of that is part of everything. So, yeah. This is a long video. I hope that people were able to watch fully. And yeah, peace. Together we are one. Return to source, return to spirit, and tap in with yourself. Oh, ways you think you can do this is really simple. Like going outside, deep breathing, sun on your skin. Yeah, there's so many things. Like I feel bad. You know what? I don't feel bad for anybody. We're experiencing this life as it is, and we will all ascend eventually, whether it's today or tomorrow or next year, whatever it is, whatever time is. I don't know what y'all want to do, but I'll see y'all soon. Peace.